I see a lot of entrepreneurs get stuck in the victim mentality, and especially when they hit a plateau in their business and they don't know why and they don't know how to break out of that. And that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video today. And I see this come up time and time again with people who don't see a lot of progress and kind of get stuck and plateau, right? And it happens to everybody for sure. But there's one specific kind of like mental shift that needs to happen in order to unlock your growth and just unleash that next level so you can have that exponential growth and just shoot right up. And so that's what I'm going to cover in this video today. If you're new to the channel, my name is Jeremy Pogue. I help online coaches scale and make a ton of money with ads. And we've got tons of case studies and whatnot. You can check out the main video pinned to my channel if you want to learn more. But for this specific video, I really just want to drill home the fact that you should want it to be hard. And I see a lot of entrepreneurs try to take the easy way out, try to look for the quick fix, and try to hit a home run on their very first swing with a baseball bat. Yet the most respected, successful entrepreneurs I know are the ones that have gone through the hardest battles. They have had businesses that they've scaled get taken away from them and completely crash. They've gone through hard times. They've had their entire team leave them. They've gone through the most challenging circumstances and made it out on the other side. And that's why they're so successful now. And that's why everybody looks up to them, because they've gone through so much stuff. And I hear a lot of people all the time talk about how they want to be like one of the greats, or they want to be very successful and be like an authoritative figure in their space, but they're not willing to go through the challenges and the hard work and the trenches to get to that point, right? Everyone's trying to take a shortcut. Everyone's trying to just jump to the jump to that next level without actually doing the work required to get there. And for example, like I look at myself years ago when I was in my parents' basement, just literally studying copywriting books and sales books and marketing books and courses and taking programs and stuff like that. And I was making $0. I was losing money because I was investing in myself and not seeing a return. But it was those years of grinding, building that foundation that's led me to create the kind of success that I have today, right? And by no means do I think I've arrived yet, because I've only learned how to get to 7 figures. And then once you do that, the goalposts change to 8, right? And so now there's going to be another another foundational season for me, building the new skills that I'm acquiring and the new experiences that are required of me to get to the next level, to get to 8 figures, right? And I see a lot of people just like trying to skip that. And especially like just a tangible example, like when it comes to ads specifically, right? Because a lot of times, like that's what most people come to me for, is help with ads, and then so we could blow up, right? And I wouldn't be good at helping people with ads if I haven't written literally like thousands of ads. And the only way you get good at stuff is just do more reps. And I see a lot of people, like it can actually come back. Like, let's say you do get lucky, right? A lot of my clients get lucky. And what I mean by that is we script out an ad together on our one-on-one call when they join the program. We launch it, and then that one ad takes them to like 100K a month. This has happened many times. Literally one single ad that we create adds 100K a month to their business. But what happens if it stops working? What happens 6 months later when the ad starts fatiguing and starts declining in performance? Well, they haven't gone through the season of testing and copywriting and like the creative process to come up with a whole bunch of new ads. So they don't really know what to do, right? They don't know what happens, how to troubleshoot. Obviously, that's what I'm here for, right? Because I've been through that and I've helped hundreds of people through that too. But like, from a pure entrepreneurial standpoint, they're not equipped to know what to do. And so what I've seen is some of them just panic when their ad stops performing well, because their entire business is just like hung up on one ad, and that's the only one they've ever done. And they're not too sure what to do and how to recover from that, right? And obviously the answer is just to test a whole bunch of new ads, test new angles, probably not reinvent the wheel and do something similar to what's been working. So then you don't have to start from scratch all over, right? But nonetheless, like when you don't do that, when you don't go through the hard times, then you feel like an imposter to some degree, and you don't understand how you even got there, why it works, or how to fix things and recover if they stop working, right? Whereas the person that maybe takes quite a bit longer to get to that point, they do understand how to fix it because they've written hundreds of ads. They've gone through so much like testing to figure out what works, what doesn't, what message hits, what message doesn't, right? What does my audience actually need? What do they not need? What do they not care about, right? And when you get really granular and specific on that and you test so many different angles, then like you know for sure. And when you know for sure, that's when you have the confidence, because you're confident because you have the competence, right? And confidence comes from competence. So when you actually get good at stuff by doing a lot of reps. And another example let's talk about is in the military, right? The most respected veterans, most respected generals are the ones that have been through the hardest battles. And that's why we look up to them for their battle-hardened advice and their expertise. Yet most people don't want to go through the battles because they're afraid of the consequences, or they just want to speed their way to the top. But what happens when you get to the top very quickly, you fall just as quick and you don't stay there for very long, right? And I think that if you reframe your mental perspective, reframe your mindset that when you're not seeing results, you're not really seeing the outputs, but you are putting in a lot of inputs, that's the good thing. That's like the only thing that should matter, because the outputs actually don't matter so much, right? And like, I've got the nice watch, I've got the nice car, I would live in a pretty nice spot. Can't really see because the camera's, I need to get a bright light in front of me so you can see the background. But like, these things are great milestones, but it's not what it's all about. What it's about is becoming that person worthy of getting these things, right? The person who's able to do that. Right now, my Lamborghini engine completely blew up a few weeks ago. I have to replace the whole engine. It's going to cost a lot of money. Warranty's not covering it. Dealership's not covering it. It's on me. And I'm grateful that I'm the type of person now to have this kind of problem. And Oprah said the same thing when she got sued for $1 billion for one of her companies. Somebody asked her, like, how do you deal with this? She's like, well, I'm just grateful to be the type of person who's able to get sued for $1 billion, right? And that's what it's all about, because the external is just a reflection of our internal state. And if we don't go through the hard times that battle tests us and really just teach us the lessons that we need to learn and help us develop and acquire the skills that we need to master to get to where we want to get to, if we don't go through that, then we're never going to get that stuff, right? And so when you reframe your perspective to actually welcome the difficult times, to welcome the hard times, to not freak out when things aren't going your way, but instead to take a bit of a step back from a higher level perspective and ask yourself what you can learn from this, that's when the most growth actually comes. And that's when you build such a strong foundation for yourself for the rest of your life, because when you go through like very difficult things, then it makes it very easy to go through everything else, right? When things come up, they don't even faze you anymore. Say, oh yeah, it's part of the problem, right? Or it's part of the process. It's not even a problem. And if you think about it too, like a few years from now, you're probably not going to, like, you're going to look back on your problems right now and laugh. Like, man, I remember when I was dealing with this thing and like, I let it stress me out and I was worrying about so much, and like, God, I was so young and naive, right? Little did I know that that challenge was going to build the foundation for who I am today, right? This is how I look back on my life right now, and this is how I'm going to look back later down the road as well. And that helps me not take the challenges very seriously as they come right now. But it really, really helps me just kind of keep things in perspective, stay very detached from the outputs, and just try to be grateful for and accept the challenges when they come. Because I know that those are exactly what shapes me and are exactly what's going to help me become the man and the entrepreneur that I need to become to get to where I want to get to and achieve the goals that I want to achieve. And if you run from the challenges, if you let them beat you down and keep you down, then you're never going to see any type of progress. And you should probably go get a 9-to-5 job right now, because entrepreneurship is not for you. And I think that a lot of entrepreneurs have been sold a dream that it's going to be easy, whereas in reality, you shouldn't want it to be easy. You should want it to be as difficult and challenging as possible, because it's going to feel way better on the other side. You're going to become such an incredible person with so much foundational experience and knowledge that you just walk through life with ease, right? Obviously, your problems are just going to get bigger and bigger too, because with more power comes more responsibility. But like, that's a good problem to have, right? A year ago, if you asked me if I wanted to have the problem that my Lamborghini engine blew up, I have to replace it, I would have loved to have that problem. I would have killed to have that problem. And most people would, right? And so that's the kind of perspective that you have to hold when it comes to challenges and difficulties, right? In business, for example, like let's say, yeah, you launch an ad, boom, adds an extra $100,000 a month, $1.2 million to your business per year, and then it stops working, right? Obviously that sucks, but like, you can reverse engineer why it worked. You can come to me for help to ask how I can get it working again, and then go from there, right? Like there's a solution to every problem. And I think that's one thing a lot of people don't understand. And so when you understand that there is a solution, even if you can't see it right now, it exists, it's out there, and you will find it. But you have to go through this and see it as a learning lesson and an opportunity rather than a challenge and a threat, right? It's an opportunity, not a threat. And when you really truly adopt that mental framework and that shift, then life begins to really just flow. And you detach. It becomes very easy to detach from the outcomes and just focus on the inputs, because you know that those inputs, the work, is exactly what is going to make you the person that you need to become to get the things you want, right? And like, the things are just milestones along the way. They're just little tokens of appreciation, to the little token, like memoirs to like look back on, like, oh yeah, I remember when I got my Rolly, when I hit my first 100K month, after I was promised that the guy I used to work for was going to buy me one when we hit 100K in a week, and he didn't. And I was like, fuck you, I'm buying my own. And so I did. It's like, I'll never get rid of this, right? This, like, I don't even want another watch. This just like, this means more to me than like anything else. Like, well, I shouldn't say that, but like, just the intrinsic value, right? It's not about the watch. Like, it's just a piece of metal that like goes around in a circle. I don't know. Maybe I'm not an appreciative watch guy. I don't know. But there's that. Same with my Lambo, right? I made my first $1 million. Told myself I would buy one. And so I had a clear goal and a reward associated to it. Boom, pull the trigger. And it's amazing. It's so much fun. And like, young Jeremy would be so proud. And that's what it's all about, right? And it was not easy to get to that point. And it took a hell of a long time. A lot longer than I thought it would, to be completely honest with you. But I'm glad it took this long. And I'm only 26. That's another thing that I got to remember as well. It's like, I'm only 26, and that's okay. I've got my whole life ahead of me. It's fine. And everyone else that I look up to and compare myself with right now, the only difference is they have like 10 years on me. Some even 20. I'm like, all right, I think I'm doing pretty good, right? And a lot of the reason why I look up to these guys, like I said before, is because of the difficulties and the challenges that they've gone through in their careers and their lives. So then I can learn from those mistakes, because it is true that we have to learn from mistakes in order to grow, but they don't have to be our mistakes. When you truly embody that, then your money becomes a token to buy back so much time and to save you from so many like problems. But I don't even know if they save you from problems, to be honest with you. I think they just like speed up the level of growth and then just bring you different problems, because the problems are necessary. They're a requirement. You have to go through the problems in order to grow. So that said, I'm going to wrap these up here before I start going in circles. But what I want you to understand is, like, don't run away from the problems. Don't run away from the challenges. You should run directly head on into them. Welcome them with open arms. Just like the Jocko Willink video. When something happens that seems very not great, you stare at it right in the eyes. You say, good. And when you reprogram your brain to welcome every obstacle with open arms and say, good, I've been waiting for you, the obstacles become very small and easy to overcome. And you experience a lot of growth as well. And that's what this journey is all about. It's not about the other shit. It's not about the fancy stuff. It's not about the striped screenshots. It's not about any of that stuff. It's about who you're becoming along the way. And that is what it should always be about. So with that said, let me know if you got any value from the video. If you did, drop a like, and let me know down in the comments your main takeaway from the video too, because I read them. I read every single one. I respond to you guys, and they mean a lot to me. So that said, I'll see you in the next video.